Greetings, greetings. Welcome. Hope y'all can hear me. I'm not quite sure. I'm out and about at some appointments and whatnot with my son. And so, y'all know me. I try to take full advantage of every in between time I have to do some of the things that I need to do. So, I'm really, really good at that whole multitasking thing, right? I think I'm going to rephrase that term, kill two birds with one stone, to help two birds, right? Uh, support two birds, right? With one stone. So, because I want to change the verbiage of that. I'm like, we're not killing here. We're going to be, helping, healing, assisting two birds with one stone. So, even though I'm out and about and at some appointments with my son, some of his appointments I'm trying to make sure is taken care of um, for him. So when my schedule gets kind of flooded, then I'll have to just do things in between time in the meantime, right? So how I do that is if I'm sitting waiting while he's doing his thing, then I'll just go online, right? And try to get some messages and things of that nature in while I can. So I just want to say thank you to anybody coming in. Hold on one second. I want to make sure y'all can hear me, hopefully. Yeah, so welcome. Thank you for stopping by here on The Real. Blown from within love. I go by Bloomy. What you guys are looking at is a picture of a short that I did earlier this morning, dedicated to those who feel like they resonate as divine feminines or masculines. No matter where you are on the path, meaning whether you are very seasoned and healed or you're just recently awakening and transitioning and making those adjustments and changes to your life. And so you're looking at a picture of that particular video, okay, with that message. And so it kind of speaks for itself, right? But I wanted to come on and do like a little mini live, little discussion briefly because, like I said, I'm out and about. So you guys are going to be hearing background noise. My son is in one of his appointments. And so chances are you're going to hear people talking and yada, yada. Uh, so I know that I really can't be here that long. It's not like it's Starbucks. It's like official appointments for him. Um, but anywho, I want to talk about what you're reading in that other video that I spoke of. What I really mean by this. Okay. I mean, it's blatantly obvious, but I feel like maybe further clarification may help. Again, when you guys hear me reference divine, feminine, or masculine, understand I'm not talking about someone or anyone that's just simply holding a title, wearing a certain outfit or uniform, or anybody that has any particular association. It's about a life. It is about a path. It's about the soul. It's about the heart energy. That is what I'm referencing. I can't speak for every other reader, and I can't speak for every other individual that's loosely using those terms. Okay. So, because, if you ain't, who did she call son? No, it's not your turn. Sorry. My son looking at me. I'm like, no, not your turn, dear. Anyway, um, so, okay. People can wear that title all they want, guys, but, it's about a life. It's about conduct. It's about motive. It's about intentions. It's about the seen and the unseen. It's about what was publicly displayed and what's not. See, that is what I mean by divine. If you have malicious intent, then I'm sorry, you're not. If you're operating from jealousy and envy and greed and entitlement, sorry, you're not. That is not divine behavior. I mean, it's kind of, to me, that's simple. It's easy to understand. That's not divine behavior. Okay? So I want to just clarify that and make that clear straight away. Now, when I talk about karmic, okay, I want to kind of bring some clarity. These terms are loosely used. Everybody is using them, and some really ought not. Okay, but that's just my resonance. Now, karmic for me, okay, because essentially every human being is born, we're here on the earth plane dealing with karma to some degree. Okay, so everything is karmic in nature, meaning that law, cause and effect. There was a cause and there was an effect. We are here, you know what I'm saying? Our decisions, our actions, our behaviors, our beliefs, da, 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 vibration, 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 creating, creating, creating from all lifetimes. Okay. So when you're looking at it in that context, then that's everything and everybody. When I am referencing, when I am referencing karmic, I'm speaking of individuals who are specifically, how do I put it? They could have, now this is a possibility, they could have agreed to carnate in as a karmic, and they're, you know, they don't know this now, right? But they could have, once they died in another life, they could have agreed to come in as a karmic to be walking, to help people to awaken. So essentially, okay, I'll be the enemy, I'll be the antagonist, I'll be the one doing fucked up shit. And I'll pay for it. But hey, that's a part of the human experience. That's a part of the lesson. That's a part of the growth. I'll agree to be fucked up. And then, I know what that means. And so maybe this is a soul lesson for me to be able to learn on a soul level about when you choose to operate that way, the ramifications thereof. The blessing and the benefit is that the divines get to awaken and heal. That's their soul lesson. So when I'm speaking of karmics, I'm talking about people who are low vibration. No, they are stuck in the South Node energy. Templates, the fear ego based templates, the 3D grid, unawakened, chakras offline. If they're online, they're distorted, they're blocked, okay, due to lack of healing, okay. So these individuals are what I call Lokis. I spoke some while ago about what is the great illusion of all. What is the greatest magic trick of all? What is? If you're talking about, from a lower vibratory place, let's look at it from that sense. What would be the greatest illusion? What would be the greatest trick of all? What would be the greatest magic? Right? There's two things. One, convincing everybody it isn't real. It isn't real, it doesn't exist. Two, misdirection. Loki, which is Thor's brother, um, was the master, known as a trickster, Loki, master illusionist. But see, his thing, magic was that of misdirection. And karmic energies are very brilliant in that. Okay, that is what they're good at. Misdirection. It just depends on what their personality is. It depends on what level of darkness that they are operating from. All of that good old stuff. The person that they're targeting, what communities and groups and whatnot that they're trying to fit in. So they're Lokis, chameleons, right? Loki had an ability to shape shift and change form. And if you were not discerning, and even the discerning often had trouble because you have to really be tapped in to kind of start picking up, because that was his strength. That was his gift. Illusion, misdirection, appearing to be something one is not. Okay? So karmic, this is how they're even able to infiltrate and to get into people's lives, because they are the illusionists. They study divine beings. They study the personalities and the personas of divine beings. If those divine beings are in their own family, then that's even another greater vantage point, because they have been studying for years. Okay? They've been studying. All this has been done in the background, unbeknownst to most people that are equally locked in that 3D grid. Okay? So they have been studying divine beings. They have been, doing what I call, like if you're in military, they call it recon, manning the port. They have the flying monkeys. They have, this is what they do. Okay? They do it online. They do it via social media. They do it literally. They utilize all of their assets and resources to study the divine beings. So they could exploit that, okay? So that they can go in when someone is weak, when the divines are either healing and awakening and experiencing a dark night of the soul, to exploit their pain and vulnerability to get them trauma bonded, or to, once they have awakened and healed, to try to act like they're them, okay? So that they can go to possibly the counterpart and trick them. Now, I'm saying all this to say that it all serves. If you guys looked at this little video I did, this little short on TikTok, that you see this image, in its own way, it served, especially for the divine. The divines, divine feminine, divine masculine even. Whoever is in a place where they're deciding to heal, ascend, and wake up, and, whatever, they're being divinely guided. And I say divinely guided, okay, to do. From there, karmics lose their power. And I say this, I'm trying to be as specific as I can because don't get it misunderstood here. A divine feminine or divine masculine, if they are not in surrender to their higher self and source, then they will suffer right along with the karmics. They will live stuck in a land of illusion, in the land of confusion, and a land of karmic field. That's their lot. Hopefully, for them, if they are a divine being, hopefully it eventually serves them, depending on how far they go and how long they stick in karmic hell with these individuals. So when I say, it's served in a good way for the divines, I'm talking about those that, go to that surrender process, that healing process, and they make these changes, okay? Working with source, creator, and their higher self. This is where their power comes in, okay? Now, the reason why I'm talking about in that little short video, do not retaliate. Don't retaliate. Because this is equally a part of the trap. There are different phases and stages of karmic frequencies when divine beings are getting themselves free from the matrix, healing themselves, awakening, doing their shadow work, inner child healing, subconscious reprogramming. There's layers to what this starts to look like. Depending on the severity of toxicity that these karmics operate in, depending on the level of jealousy, envy, whether they're full-blown psychopaths, sociopaths, or narcs or not, would determine the level of how this is going to play out. Because if divines fall into the trap of trying to retaliate, then this is only used by karmics to further set up the divines. Because at the end of the day, you guys need to understand that when individuals are operating in that energy and frequency of karmic energy, they don't really care there. There's no moral code. For them, it's just essentially about power and control and getting their way. And when the divine being starts to stand in their power and set boundaries and defend themselves and say no and walk away, no matter how much is dipped in sugar and syrup here, they're not going to like that. And that means that narcissistic rage is going to be activated within them. This is when you're going to see the side of them that they convinced you for so long didn't even exist. This is going to be when you see that side of them that for so long they even convinced you that it was the divines that were that way. This is when you're going to see that at the end of the day, they never really cared about your life, your heart, your wants, needs, and desires. They never really cared about justice, love, peace, and fairness. This is when you're going to see this erupt because they can't control the narrative. They can't control the outcome. They can no longer control and bully their way or manipulate their way or spellcast their way into having their way. So at that point, then they're going to try to trigger the divines in every way they can. Because remember, I said low-key. Remember, I said they study. So they still know the vulnerabilities of the divine. They still know the tenderness, the sore spots. So if they know somebody has a temper, then they're going to try to get that all riled up so that somebody can do something dumb. You see what I'm trying to say? Because essentially they want to annihilate you and ruin you if they cannot control you or have you. Okay? This is why I say these individuals are not worth it. They are not worth you ruining your beautiful life and path. If you are a divine being and resonate as someone who came here to operate from divinity versus karmic energy, okay, they are not worthy and deserving of you, okay, sacrificing your life behind some bullshit with them. Their temporary illusionary victories are not real. Okay, it's all fear, ego, 3D based, and it shatters because source ensures tower for these people. Okay, and it's to serve as their healing and awakening, or they'll just go to the grave and maybe they'll learn next life, maybe. So it's I know it's tempting because we're humans as well. We bleed red, we have emotions. That it all serves. If you've been wronged, if there's been grave injustices, absolutely. But the best thing that you can do is go legal, my friend. And when I say legal, I mean for real. And I mean in a just and fair manner. I'm not talking about the distorted ways that karmics and narcissists use the legal system because they too try that. They're going to pay for that as well. Okay? And all that are involved in that. When I say legal, I'm not talking about exploiting the legal system or the judicial system. I'm talking about following your higher guidance and seeking counsel and following suit with anything legally that you can do. Okay? Whether that be restraining orders, whether that be, going to court, getting certain stipulations dealing with children, whether that be, you know what I'm saying, getting legal advice, getting some type of a will and testament, and putting some secret enforcements in there should something were to happen to you. I mean, what you're dealing with, so you kind of have to weigh it based on that. The people you are dealing with and what you've dealt with and what they have shown you about themselves. So it's ill-advised to have a discussion with them about it because it's only used as information to further try to trap you. Learn this lesson. All of the friends that have smiled in your face for years is not always what they appear. The homies that love to give you the dranky drink and the weed and the, what I'm saying? It ain't what you think. Some of them jealous of you. You know what I'm saying? So we have to get to a place of just accepting that and getting wiser and understanding that our true vengeance, if you will, if you want to even call it that, because to me, it's not even that. It's called, I'm here to live. I am justice. I live on. I'm here to live. And I'm here to live fully and happily and joyfully and freely, unbothered. So it's about doing what you can legally for that. Okay? Let justice prevail. Okay? We do have to co-create and collaborate, if you will, with the universe. Okay? Sitting back passively is not going to work either. The universe is going to work with the divine beings in terms of, making these shifts, closing out these cycles, clearing these energies, and making these changes. Okay? But to try to say, okay, like I'm pissed, and so I'm going to woo, don't reduce yourself to them. They're not worth it. Those who need to know the truth will. Those who remain disillusioned should be the reveal to you. It means that they're equally disillusioned and equally locked into the fear ego-based 3D grid. And it's not for you as a divine to try to convince differently. Another lesson of divine feminine and masculines is you're wasting your time there. They do not become divine beings. Stop trying. Okay? This doesn't work like that. It only slows you down It only keeps you in the cycle of fuck shit, right? And all we have to do is, you guys, if we want to demystify this whole phenomenon and just keep it down home regular, all you got to do is get quiet and look at your life in retrospect. Go back, look at other things in time, and just look at it from a simple place. Ask yourself, when you dealt with anybody in your life, anybody in the past, and you tried to stay around, you did the song and dance, y'all, let's heal, let's be together, let's try again, let's get counseling, let's go to this, let's do the therapy, let's go to church, let's pray, let's do this, and you look at it in retrospect. Let's go to drug and alcohol salons, let's do this, let's the circus show, and you look at it in retrospect, you see that it was an illusion. It was a game. It was a time thief. It was to give people more time for some more fuck shit so they can figure out some new shit. It was thievery. It was useless. It was futile. Because at the end of the day, when people want something truly, if they're a divine and they want something truly, honey, they're going to do it, period. It's not going to be a carrot dangled in front of your face to get you to stay, to get you to give them one more chance, to give me one. It ain't going to be none of that. When people are ready, they're ready. They'll do it when they're standing alone. They'll do it when everybody is gone. They'll do it, period, because they want to do it, because they're called to do it, because their hearts are saying do it, because they know they need to do it. Not because they're trying to keep somebody. It's a lesson. So divines have to learn how to follow that intuition or they pay. This is what they find out. Follow that intuition or pay, because everything is this 3D is an illusion. And if you are basing your movements, your choices and decisions solely based on what you can touch, see, feel, or smell, that's my confirmation. I got a ding on my another device. That's confirmation. You're going to be tricked forever. You're going to go from one trickery situation to another. Whether you get out of that one or not, you're just going to go on a loop, one trickery situation to another. Because it's about healing, ascending, aligning, and following that intuition, that gut. I just got to clench in my solar plex, that gut. Transformation, okay? But don't put your energy into the retaliation. They get what they got coming. And here's a little secret for you. This is activated when divine beings make their decision. When the divine beings in the universe knows the difference between when we're saying it versus really meaning it. It's a frequency. Understand? When the divine beings truly align with their higher self and source and decide, I'm done. Disconnect, cord cut, deuce. This activates the wheel. But see, the divines have to clear their energy. As long as we play in the devil's karmic, then this is also delaying them from getting the karma justice, cause and effect, that is truly due them. Okay? So it's also what keeps the divines in lower frequency and in confusion. So this is why it serves the divines to kind of like let the shit go. I know it's easier said than done, and I know we hate hearing it. But I love equating things to practicality in life, you know, to kind of like that 3D stuff that if you were in it, it'll be just one of those things where you're like, you know what I'm saying? If I knew I'd walked into a room full of a contaminant, I don't need a discussion. I'm getting myself the hell out of there. I don't need somebody to show me no PowerPoint, fucking, I don't need no form and shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to go to now another meeting. I don't need nothing. If I know I have a room and I'm fully aware that something is contaminated that could possibly harm me, I'm just out. I ain't finna play. I ain't finna say none of that. I ain't finna say, well, I'm finna send Reiki. You know what I'm saying? Like, And I understand we can do those things, but we can't do those. We can't bend it when we're being divinely guided, because divine guidance is for a reason. We can't bend it. It's based on the divine. It's based on source. It's based on the higher realms there. We can't just say, well, I want to play here, so I'm going to try to, let's just push me some Reiki on so I can go play over here in devil's hell. You know, it's like, no, no. It's a time clock on that shit, right? You slow your own life down, essentially. Okay? So put all your beautiful energy and attention into the sugar, to the lighter things, because the karmics are the salt, you know, and not the good version of salt. You know what I'm saying? What I mean by that is like people that are mean and bitter and vindictive and looking to destroy lives. That's all they're about. They try to play differently, but that's all they're about. Okay? So put your focus on the sugar, the light, the love, your divinity, because they don't have the power you do. When you, as a divine, step into that, it's over for them. They're done. But you have to go that journey, that hero's path, and be willing to sacrifice. You don't lose. It's that fear of abandonment and rejection that divine beings have to really overcome. It's like, because you're not alone. You're never alone. You're with your light. On top of that, if you're on a twin flame journey, whether in the 3D or not, true twins. Okay, that's a 5D high level dimension shit. Can't nobody fuck with that. And when they try, they wish. Okay? So you don't have to worry about that, right? So all you need to worry about is working on you, man. Do you, boo. Heal you, boo. And then, you know, work on forgiving them, you know, because if they did shit, you know, you got to work through that stuff yourself and then release them and wish them well. But, you know, you can't fix them. You can't heal them. You can't make them unkarmic. You know what I'm saying? You can't make them become honest and true. You can't make them, you know what I'm saying? When we give up trying to make folks, you'll be a lot happier in life. I tell you what. You get through with trying to make folks see this and see that and believe this. What the hell? Fuck that. They don't believe. Well, too bad. So sad. I'm sorry my Bluetooth went off there, you guys. So, you know, let it be. You know, that's something I've learned a long while back now. It's like, fuck that. When I know my truth, I'm like, yeah, this shit gonna come out. Let them do it. Because in due time, it's always a day of reckoning. In due time. Right? And that's the benefit of knowing your own heart energy. It's the benefit of knowing what you're truly in alignment with. It's the benefit of knowing when you're in alignment with source, not that toxic fuck shit. Okay? Because when you're in that alignment, you don't need a group. You don't need a posse, honey. You don't need that. That's divine energy right there. Okay? And no, all is well. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't your job, divine masculine, divine feminines. It's not y'all jobs to make it okay for the karmics. They need to go on their journey like everybody else. They need to grow up like everybody else. They need to do the shadow work like everybody else. They're responsible for their own lives like everybody else. Period. Okay, and let them be. The most loving thing you can do is in allowing thus to be. It is when we're in that energy where we're still the enablers and the tongue biters that keeps them, you know what I'm saying, stagnated from ever waking up, growing up. You know what I'm saying? As long as we're playing these roles for these people. Okay? You guys will be all right, divine feminine, divine masculine, if that is truly who you are. Understand, that's who I'm directing this to. I'm not directing it to copycatters, pretenders, wannabeers, whether they're masculine or feminine. Okay? Or those that are opting and choosing to stay karmic. I'm not addressing them either. I'm addressing individuals that are yielding to their divine paths, truly, from the inside out. Okay? All right, bright souls.